Good evening, friends. I do believe we are working. So, good evening to you here from the Professor. Yes, we're live. Got it. It's a while to come through. So, very good evening to you. Hope you're doing very well this evening. Sunday night in the shadows. Your regular Sunday chit chat with me, the Professor. And yes, I've got my jacket on today because it's getting colder. Getting very cold over here. And I have a new camera as well, so I'm testing it. So if things go totally wrong, it's because I'm in testing mode. So I'm testing a new camera today. So let's see how that goes. It looks pretty clear to me. Let's jump on our first port of call, which I'm always gonna like to do. Share my screen. Here we go. Yes, it's working. Great. So here's something I like to do now. I like to go over the comments so that you can give you a shout out if you've commented. It really helps me. So I get done listening here. So are doing God's work. Oh, thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate that. All hail the Professor. Thank you so much. Who was that? Who do we have there? We had Sonam D and Richard Daniel. Thank you, Richard. Legendary. I'm legendary. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate that. Well, Professor. We meet once again. Good evening to you, Richard. I just finished, made my day. Thank you for watching again. Sonam, I hope that's the correct pronunciation. And AV Melodor. Outstanding. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Truly appreciate. Kathy is on. Awesome series. Thank you so much. What was fantastic? I love the prequel winter. Yes, had to put winter in there. Had to put winter in the end of this one to connect the two together. So I know the camera's here, and I'm looking up here because there's the words on the screen over here. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. That was from Terry. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that. Kathy, write another story of a werecat. Can definitely think of them. I have so many things going on already. Great series. Kiwi. Thank you, Kiwi. And how am I going to say your name? How am I going to say your name? When you're going to do another as a Night Slayer, I've still got some stuff to do with the Night Slayer because I've been working on so many other things. But it is in the pipeline, so sometime soon. Have a story of some vampires that are people of color. Oh, curse. That was not the curse. I meant to justice. That was cool. The potion shop was cool, though. Was not as fresh as it could have been. Honestly, I was not fond of the radio show anthology, but that was me. Finished Sage Part 2, very interesting, and ties well with everything else. Yeah, I see you have a pattern there. You like the werewolf and the vampire ones from Crimson Dawn connecting. The potion shop and the radio one, more of like an anthology, trying to tap into that old horror era. I'm going to do some more like that. But I will, of course, continue to do those. And yes, the werewolf one with a curse. I hope you like that one. That was good. But thank you so much for. I always appreciate your comments, by the way. I've used quite a few of your ideas. For one so wise, this is someone like I think I misunderstood the first bit. How did so in the vampire series? I actually not going to say just in case someone hasn't seen it. Repeat the same detail over and over again. Nothing new. Nothing new. Oh dear. So you have a vampire that has a philosophy. that he only kills on a moral premise, and it's not new. I've never seen that before. Maybe it's everywhere. Maybe I just missed it. Is that dude? Thank you so much, my friend. That was Big Scar Born. Big Scar Born. Thank you so much. It's the thing with YouTube names, isn't it? So weird names to put you in the series and the message to start to understand towards the end. Thank you so much. Aurora North. Thank you again. Appreciate that. Amazing stories. Thank you, Melissa. Needs more update on these 4 stories. Shelley. Shelley number 2. You are. I'm going to stop in a second. Come over and do. I like to do this first. It's interesting. You wearing a red jacket? I like my red jacket. Yes, I like the red jacket. I like the red jacket. That was John. Standing. Crystal. No. I had to subscribe. Yes, New Orleans. I'm so there. So I can smell my town. There's a full movie. It's that good. Thank you so much, my friend. Del LeBeau. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. Appreciate everyone that makes a comment. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate the comments you put on there. So let's head back. I think we've got enough, right? And here we are. Good evening. If you're just joining me, just finished up with the comments just now. A couple of questions here already. Look, do you only do your own stories on a channel? I do, my friend. I only do my own stories. Shelley's on. That's Dale. I work for Mr. Creepypasta. Over 3 million views. Nice. It's called The Family. Nice. I'll have to look out for it, my friend. Thank you for jumping on. So here we are. The comments done. Now we are here. What we got? Who we got on today? Where are we coming from? Oh, we know Shelley's on. Missouri, Maitland, Missouri. So I hope you had the chance to catch up, and I put out this week the final part 2 of the Sage Vampire. And it definitely went off in a direction I really was pleased with, where instead of just lots of killing and murdering and drinking blood, etc., it told the tale of why, of wisdom, and how wisdom can combat chaos. And yeah, I think it came out very well. I truly enjoyed it. So hope you enjoyed that. If you had a chance to watch it. So listen to some of your stuff soon. I love a good vampire tale. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate that. And we have vampires. I like doing vampire stories. I like doing vampire stories because I like to make them parasitic, old, evil, ancient, draining of life, not the shiny vampire, but old, and obviously with age, hopefully comes wisdom, which is why there's a couple of vampires I write about that have their own moral compass, their own philosophy of thinking, which in the long run of things, if they didn't, they probably wouldn't still exist. So they have a moral compass to guide them. I think that's important because, you know, as if you saw the last story I did, if the vampire was so powerful and took over, it could take over everything, and then there would be no food for it. Almost like us eating our own food supply and having nothing left. Of course, you have to have an understanding or intelligence or wisdom, and I think the vampire is the same. Well, it certainly is on my channel. But of course, one of the most popular ones on my channel is werewolf stories, do really well. And Tubby's on. Good evening. And the werewolf ones for us do really well. Probably one of the biggest ones. People seem to like werewolves for some reason. I love werewolves as well. It's funny, I was scrolling through something today, and it's because Halloween's coming up, and they had this big animatronic werewolf. And I looked at it, I thought, my goodness, that would be perfect in my house. So, called the city mid when humans and vampires coexist in the same city, sort of a detective noir kind of things. Never wrote a werewolf story. Nice. I will look out for it, my friend. Yes, werewolf. The thing is obviously slightly different, and in the universe, which is my channel, those things are all connected, which is one of the reasons I don't really have other stories, because the stories are all pretty much connected. So it would be difficult to have an external writer as such. And there's like a law in this channel, this universe channel, Shadowverse, and one cancels out the other. So the undead cancel out the like, and the like cancel out the vampire, and the vampire cancel out the undead. So it's like a rock, paper, scissors between the supernaturals. And then, of course, you have other characters involved, which one of my favorite characters called Winter, who is actually a man who goes beyond being a man of intelligence. And that's something we try to portray on the channel, is that intelligence, wisdom is power. So whereas we as humans often see ourselves weak, our intelligence is our own power. Whereas the lichen has claws and fangs, and the vampire can drink blood, turn into shadows, and fly around. And the undead can spread the plague. We look at ourselves as weak, but in comparison, we're strong because we have our own intelligence. What's a good story to start with? A good story on the channel. I've got a playlist. If you go to my page, my main page, Professor Shadow, and there's a playlist, and it says chronological order of Crimson Dawn backstories. And the first one on it is Origins of the Werewolf. I tried to put them in the time order because they're connected, but they go off in different directions. So they're more in a time order than a creation order. So Origins of the Werewolf is really the one that's set the furthest back in time at the moment. That may change. So probably start with that, because that's a werewolf one as well. So, and then that will move into the next one, which is the first vampire of this universe. Not the first vampire of all time, because everyone, you could say the first vampire was in 500 BC, and someone writes a story of a vampire in 600 BC. So the first vampire, I like to say, of this channel. And it just goes on until we hit the Crimson Dawn, where it's like 15 hours of storytelling. Yeah, hopefully that answers the question. So what are we working on? So we've got some things in the pipeline, which hopefully is going to be coming for next week. We have so there's a couple of things. So we're thinking of doing. We've already got the draft for the Night Slayer. So we've got a couple of new drafts for the Night Slayer coming out. So this is the series I was working on, which I stopped because I had so many other things going, and I didn't want to put too much on myself to take away from focus. So I took away from focus to focus on. That's when I started the Elder, Sorana, etc. And they've sort of come to the front again. So we can add a little bit more in detail next week. And they are the stories where there's the fighter and the older professor. and each and every story is a vampire series. But each and every story, the vampire is different in some way. In some way, it drains, doesn't just drain blood. Maybe it's life or madness, dreams, and then it has to find ways to overcome because you can't kill the same. It's not kill them the same way. It's all different ways. So this was something I started and sort of didn't have the time to do. But back on that next week. So hopefully, you've got quite a few people asking for that. So I'll be back on that next week. And I have something else I'm working on as well. So we're looking at doing something more, moving into the Elder Sorana series, continuing on there, because we sort of, with the Torment, we went into how there's two like children type vampires that are now under the protection of Elder and Sorana. So we're thinking about doing that as well. But we'll see how the draft goes, because obviously it's like they're big tasks. And of course, there's one other thing I'm going to do next week is I'm going to try and do I'm going to do an independent story. Of course, it's going to link in some way. It's going to be an independent story, which I'm not going to tell you too much about. You have to watch it. Excuse me. So that's what we've got coming. That's what we've got coming on the channel. If you do have requests, some way that can link, or stories are going to link with the channel, don't forget you can always pop them on the chat or pop them in the replay of the comments. I'm always going over, like we did last week. We went over, we come up with a great idea, and we created a story which came out in that 1 week of that idea. But Shelley was in there. Shelley was in the story. So we had 4 people get together to create the story and give the ideas, and then I created it and put it out. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I think Shelley's was the vampire one, wasn't it? Yes. I had so many ideas for that one. I had so many ideas for that. But of course, we couldn't, because there's 4. We couldn't do it too long. We couldn't make the story too long. So, and I really wanted to do a little bit of a take on this old Amicus film where they go to this like cafe and they pull the string and the mirror shows, and it's just this one person, it's not a vampire because the mirror doesn't show. And I really want to do something in connection with that. So I did the where they went to this grand mansion, and I didn't want to do the pull the mirror, so I did the they held on to the person and felt their warmth. So yeah, so that was good. I wanted to do something like that, so that was a great opportunity to do that. It was really interesting. Really interesting. So if you are on, don't forget to hook me up. Let me know where in the world you are watching from. If you watch this or watch the replay, if you're live with me now or you want to watch the replay, it's fine. But just let me know where in the world you're watching from, just really for my own personal enjoyment, so I can see all the different places that people are watching from. Interesting. Oops. I know Shelley is from Maitland, Missouri. If you're watching, just type in. Don't even have to say hello. You could just put in where you're from. That'd be great. So I have an idea where we are, where I am transmitting to. Those. Are we still live? Are we still going? Yeah, so a little bit of a there we go. Good. A bit of a setback. I dropped my mapped on my keyboard and it stopped my video. Good. Okay, Nick from Coventry. Oh, Coventry, not far from me. Over in Norwich and Norfolk. So I need to get revenge on that friend that took me to the party. You do, with friends like that. Who needs enemies? But maybe you shouldn't have laughed at the vampire movie. So good. So good. I was actually watching a great movie last night. It's on YouTube, and it was really old, really terrible quality. It was called Jack the Ripper, and it was so good because it wasn't really. It was just people walking around in the fog, and it's all black and white. It was really good just to have that ambience of the fog. So it was quite a good little movie on YouTube. I think I fell asleep watching it, which is why I put them on. So it did its job. Yeah. So in the anthology, we had 4. We had the vampire, the werewolf, the ghost, and the cat people. That was good. 4 good stories. Making any decent money from YouTube? No, I don't think you make good money from YouTube. I'm in a fortunate position that I don't really need to make too much money from YouTube. Just cover my costs is great. I think if you're a storyteller, I mean, there's so many videos out there if you go to YouTube about how you can make so much money on YouTube by doing stories and doing this and doing that. You've really got to pull some subscribers in to make some decent money on YouTube. They pay you not even pennies to the thousands. So yeah, it's pocket money. It helps pay for the software you use. Maybe you can update your cameras. I just updated my camera today. So I have a nice webcam. I already had a great webcam, but I just wanted something else. Get paid by the narrator. All right. Yeah, I think YouTube is especially for the stories, you don't get that much return per thousand. I have a couple of friends that run YouTube channels. They're much more tech savvy than me on how the algorithm works and everything like that. But they seem to do all right, and they're like more sort of educational. And I think one of them more finance, is like crypto and all that, and the other one is like teaching. So they make pretty good money on their channels. But for storytelling, I think you've got to have other things in play to do it. I don't think it's make the channel and make your fortune. I don't think that's. And the reason I start my channel here simply because I want to create the content that I would like to see that I don't see already, and hopefully that attracts the people that enjoy the stories I tell. If you don't like the story, don't watch it. And I'm pretty much that ahead. I already run other stuff, so I don't really need to get too much. I just want to make sure I cover my costs here, and I think I do that all right. Of course, if you got to like I don't know, a couple of million subscribers, I'm sure you'd be making decent money. He has 1.6 million subscribers. Yeah, so that's it. When you got that many subscribers, you should do good. YouTube would be a full-time job. Like I say, I attract the people that like the stories I tell and enjoy the same type of stories I tell, and that's really what I'm looking for, to create that type of channel. I think the market is super flooded with storytelling of all sorts. So just try and make myself a little bit unique. Like I say, everything's connected. The stories are original by me, and yeah. If you want to make money on YouTube, it's crypto, isn't it? Crypto now. Like that. Nice one, Dale. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting. Pleasure to enjoy the stories. So we don't have our friends on today. We have Shelley on, Nick's on, Dale's just gone, Tubby's on, but she's upstairs. Tubby's my daughter. She does her own little channel. I'm not going to plug it for her. Nothing to do with stories. I love the stories. Yes, I love my stories. I think it's that thing. I could simply write stories for the sake of putting content out. I could put a story out every day. Easy. You could easily do it. But you have no passion for the stories when it happens like that. Whereas now I'm already thinking about ahead, the Elder and Serana continuation. I have other drafts written up that all connect to the characters, so I like the characters. So it becomes a creative mission, story. And when I create it, I put it in, and I hear it back, and that's the part I really enjoy, because sometimes when you're writing is difficult, because you'll write a passage and you focus on that passage, and you've already forgotten what the previous, the basics, but the words you used, and then when you hear it all together in one thing, the creation of what you've made out of nothing, for me, that's the reward. That's the reward in its own, that creation. And then I enjoyed that. That's what I would like to see. And of course, there's people out there like me that want to see the same thing or hear the same thing. Soon it'll be watching the same thing, because some big updates from AI coming, which looks so amazing already. I thought it was going to be years, but it seems like it's moving faster and faster all the time. Where hopefully we can put in, and it's even going to be happening in YouTube. I saw you can put in your script, and it's going to create the film for you. Super exciting times. Imagine if you could put the Crimson Dawn in and create the movie. This would be amazing. This would be so good. So good. What we got? So, friends, if you are watching, please, if you do have any questions or ideas, throw them in the chat comment section, and we can play around with those. Ideas, and maybe just maybe I'll draft with the connection. It's difficult. The anthology, I think, is going to be separate from the channel. I'll do some more of those. So maybe when I get 4 good ideas, I'll always create an anthology in some way. I need to be a vampire. You was the vampire's lunch. But we'll see what we can do. Perhaps we could continue where we left off. So the next person that comes in. So we ended Shelley's story where she had this friend, and they watched this movie. She's laughing because of the camp vampire movie with long cloaks, fangs, and cheesy blood. But the person sitting on the end didn't appreciate it for some reason and took it serious. And Days later, she tried to convince Shelley vampires are real, but Shelley had no part and laughed it off, thinking this person was silly. Then they enticed Shelley to a mansion, a grand ball, where the rich and famous touched shoulders. Shelley attended eagerly. But when she was there, she was called to the front after some time. And a man introduced and asked, "When did you turn?" And she was confused. The man saw the confusion in her face. He grabbed her arm, felt a warm blood in her body. And at that point, they knew she hadn't turned yet. The camera fades off. Maybe you hear a scream from the distance. Months later, no one's heard from Shelley. Concerned for her well-being, they ask her friend if they'd seen her. They say the last time was when she came to her flat for a conversation. The other friend that was at the party or at the viewing of vampire films traces Shelley's last movements. He goes to the old mansion, now shut down, boarded up, no longer pristine, nothing there, empty, cobwebs, black darkness. He finds an open window, a board slightly pulled off the wall, climbs inside. Hears a scratching noise. Searches in the darkness, his torch flickering. Suddenly the batteries in the torch start to flicker, start to dull. A scratching noise, closer this time. Inside, an old wooden door. Seemed to be an old store cupboard. He hears the noise, he opens it. There inside, Shelley, hungry, turned to a vampire months ago, but now never fed. Suddenly, she doesn't see her friend. She sees a meal, dives and drinks the crimson liquid from his neck. Now, as a full-fledged vampire, after draining his life force, she exits the mansion into the night. Then we could probably continue the story. Then we could continue the story. That's normally how I do the story. Is I'll have my keyboard. I'll put it into the keyboard as I go, section by section. As I'm speaking like this, I'm terrible typing, but we don't need good typing. We just say correct, autocorrect, and it corrects it for us. Nothing like warm crimson. I love the word crimson liquid. I love it. You find that in all of mine. Crimson liquid. What an amazing words. So I do see that we have a few more people watching. So don't forget to say hi. Just let me know where you're coming from, where you're watching and viewing from. And of course, I'm going to give you a shout out. Say hi back. Let me know if you watch. What's your favorite? What's your favorite tale from the channel? Your favorite story so far? Let me know. Because if I know what you like, I can create more of it. Here's the thing. Let me know. Because I will create more of what you enjoy. Because probably what you enjoy is what I'm enjoying doing. Which is why I have so much on my plate already. Or when are you going to continue the Night Slayer? Can we have more Elder and Serana? What about Winter? Can we have more? What about the Alpha? What about the Alpha Prime? Can we have more? The Master, we need a backstory. What about the Hunter from the Werewolf, recent Werewolf one? What about his backstory? How about more Eldritch? These characters are so alive. I do have some ideas to pull some different type of characters from Crimson Dawn, like the human characters, to pull them and put them in their own story somehow, and then have it connected. Because I really would like to do something different instead of just a traditional werewolf, undead, vampire, which I like doing because I love this, what I grew up on. I'd like to do some other stuff, more supernatural. I have an idea. I'm not going to tell. I have a draft for a story. It's completely different to the channel, but I'm going to pull a character from the Crimson Dawn, a human character. If you watch this live and you'd like to name a human character you would like to see return for their own tale and put their name in, maybe I'll choose that name that you selected. I do have a couple in mind already. If you don't know, go watch the Crimson Dawn and you'll be able to pick your favorite characters. Winter has already got his own stories. He already has his own stories. Winter is a very easy write for me. When I created Winter originally, in my mind I was just like, I just want a character that can showcase the power of the humans, because like I say, in Crimson Dawn it was the rock, paper, scissors. The vampire beats the undead beats the werewolf beats the vampire. It was the rock, paper, scissors. But we had these such amazing characters, and Commander Harrison, Captain Knox, Captain Harris. These characters were full on in the story. You had the other pack of werewolves in there as well. I haven't done anything with them. That's something I could explore. But yeah, we have all these other characters, and I was thinking, none of them stand a chance against any supernatural. So how do we get a human? What is a human's power? I think the human's power is the ability to organize, to create, to use their mind and think about this character. Using that type of philosophy, that the greatest power on earth is the power to think, power to create. And I thought, okay, I'm going to excel that person's power. I'm going to create this character, and I'm going to excel that person's ability to do those things, hyper excel them into the future. So we come up with Winter, and then I really wanted to do it because he changed. He experimented on himself, and boosted his cognitive abilities. And I really wanted to show, that's why I put the mask, I put the silver mask. So whenever he looks at his own reflection, he doesn't see his own face. He just sees the infinite ability of the humans. Yeah, so that's where. Good evening, Professor. My apologies for being late. I had a lunch engagement I had to attend, unfortunately. John, welcome. Never apologize for lunch if it was good. I had a really nice roast chicken dinner today. So with everything, it was so nice. My amazing partner made it for me. So good. Roast chicken was so good. So good. I, of course, ate too much. But they make me a hybrid vampire. Hybrid with what? Could you be hybrid with? A wolf, vampire wolf. That's interesting. That would take the rock paper scissors to a whole new meaning. Yes, I was just saying, I have this idea for a story that is not, I just saw it. A lot of the times you can tap in to the story, you can tap into the creative just by seeing a singular image. And I saw this singular image. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want you to spoil what the story is about. There's nothing vampire, nothing undead, nothing werewolf, but it was this singular image. And I thought, I really would love to do something with that image, create a story. And I was already thinking, I'm going to pull one of the characters from the Crimson Dawn, the human characters. I just explained why we created Winter, not Winter. Winter's too. Now he's so evolved, he can only really fight on a cosmic basis. So, not Winter. One of the other characters. We have the commanders. We have the leaders of the outposts. One of my favorites was Captain Knox. Oh, she stood out for me. She really stood out for me. Captain Harris. Nice. There's one of those two. They were the two main. And Marco as well. Marco was a good one. The main protagonists. I feel that they need to have their own. I'm going to pull one of those. So don't forget, if you're watching and you have a favorite character from the Crimson Dawn you'd love to see again in the story, human character, except Winter. If you're watching live, you're watching the replay, don't forget to stick it in, because if someone puts one in, I may well pick it to say, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Spin-off from Crimson Dawn. Yeah, I think if you watch the channel, we're all spin-offs, so everything I do pretty much has a connection somewhere. The only ones I didn't do was the anthologies, which I've been doing, which are not connected yet. There will be some way. So I have this idea for this. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I have this idea for this story, and I want to pull one of the characters from Crimson Dawn, and they're going to be the main character that deals with this scenario. So they will be fighting their own supernatural battle against this. How will they overcome it? Harrison Knox, one of my favorite. It's got to be one of those. But if you want a different one, put it in the comments. Put it in the replay comment, and I will definitely go over. That's something I want to do. See, like I said, just simply see an image, and from that image in my mind is like, I want to get my hands on that and create something with that. So yes, it's strange how the creative works. As soon as I saw the image, I sort of had an idea what I wanted to do. Literally that week, been watching an old movie, which gave me some of the ideas that could work, and then pulling from something else. Yeah, and how it all starts to click together just by seeing a single image. Amazing. So yes, maybe we'll have to go, and we could always go and rewatch. It's only like 15 hours. 15 hours. My goodness. 15 hours Crimson Dawn. It's really easy. Or you just scan through and find the people. And think, I remember that guy. I have a good idea. I've never actually. I have the idea. I've got to do the continue with the Night Slave series. I've got to continue with that. There's so many people messaging me. So I've got to go ahead and do that. So not got to. I haven't got to do anything. I want to go ahead and do that. And so I want to get at least 1 or 2 of those out. But in the meantime, I want to work this secondary this Prince character in from Crimson Dawn. And fortunately, I have the draft of Crimson Dawn of all the names of the people, so I can just go through that. Okay, I have one in mind already. If you want to see something different, don't forget, put it in the comments, put it in the like, put it in the replay comments, and certainly I will go there, because I need to try it. I need to connect. Everything needs to be connected. Otherwise, I just do the same as every other channel and just put random stories that really don't have any meaning to the channel, just there. Imagine if we get to the point where we've got like 1,000 stories and they're all connected some way. That'd be so amazing. That's my goal, to try and create, the huge library of stories, and they're all connected some way. The recent one I did was completely connected. So obviously the Sage. So the Sage story, Sage Part 1, Part 2. Of course, it's connected. That'd be great. What are we on? I think I'm on 300 and something. 350 stories. So I haven't got many. I've got 650 to go. Right, better get cracking by the end of the week. Yeah, and one thing I want to do, what I did, I just created a playlist, and I chronologically trying to put the connection in of all the Crimson Dawn stuff. I looked into it, and I just found it quite difficult. Of maybe just getting like a link to a website where it has it starts this one. This is the year of this particular story, then this year, and this goes into this one. This connects here. This character. Do something like that. I couldn't figure out how to do it yet, but I will. We will eventually figure out. Just so just having the time to do it. Just really busy with a couple of other projects I'm working on as well. Nothing to do with this channel, so also busy there. But yeah, I do like the idea of pulling in a human, which I've been wanting to do for a while. Pull a human character instead of just the vampire characters and the most powerful characters. Pull in the regular person that survived the Crimson Dawn. Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think the new playlist will come as well. New playlist. The video, the webpage idea, it seems so complicated. But at the moment, it's not going to be complicated forever. I will do it. It's just for me at the minute it's time, because I have some other things that are really taking my focus, which I'm working on. And but yes, we will get there eventually. Plenty of time. There's no rush. That's the whole thing. I'm not in a rush. I don't want to be in a rush. The moment I turn around and say, I've got to get this out, I've got to get that out, I've got to get the story out because I need the numbers, then I'll stop producing, because I don't want to be like that. I do it because I enjoy doing it. It's more relatable to us mortals, a character that's so powerful. Boring. Yeah. Yeah, although Winter is definitely one of my favorite characters. He's starting to get quite hard to write for because he is just too powerful. And maybe we need to knock him down a peg or two, and he wouldn't be who he is. Yeah, he's actually getting quite hard to write for because he is so powerful. He's at that point where he's so beyond everything. Maybe his powers or his cognitive ability starts to wane. Maybe something happens where he starts to deteriorate his mental ability. Maybe that's for the future. For the future. I think I like the character too much yet to do anything to him, to harm him in any way. But yes, but he's quite tricky to write for because how do you write for a character that's just that so powerful? And he's not as powerful as when he reshaped reality, because he doesn't have that power anymore. But it's his mental capacity, and that's what I was saying earlier. And that's exactly what I wanted to do when I started the series of Crimson Dawn. Is I wanted to make the rock paper scissors, the vampires, undead, and werewolves, and then what? What about the humans? They're just, what are they? Just meals, just fodder. So we needed a character that wasn't. And like I said earlier, what is the human's most powerful trait? They're not strong, not fast. They don't have any special powers. All they have is intellect and creativity, and that's where Winter really comes into his own, to show that the human is more powerful than anything because of his own creativity, because of his own intellect. Make me a dragon and I'll take out Winter. I think the most powerful, of course, the most powerful person is a writer, because they can write it any way they want. So, especially otherwise, the supernatural creatures will eat him up. Yes, exactly. The dragon. But then I suppose you could somehow in the future, you could resurrect somehow a dragon and bring it in, and in order to combat it, they reintroduce Azrael. Imagine that battle. That would be a battle. I say you can have the strong character, the powerful characters, but then in order to beat the powerful characters, you have to introduce more powerful characters, and it just gets to a point where, normal creatures and humans are just insignificant. They have no power over anything. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch The Sage Part 2. But in there's a great part which highlights everything I'm saying right now. So go watch that, Sage Part 2, if you haven't watched it, where I won't spoil it if you haven't, don't worry. Where they're looking find a way to stop the Sage and his army. It's an army of elders or vampires that is marching across, destroying everything's path. It's just too powerful. The Sage is too powerful. What can they possibly do? What creature can they do that they didn't? I'm not going to spoil it, but wait to that point to see exactly how we're talking right now. Winter can find a special dragon frequency and take you out. Yes. Winter can get into your mind. That was a great part when I was writing Crimson Dawn, and I came up with that idea. It's like, because the undead, the zombies, for example, in every zombie, to kill them, you shoot them in the head, which means the only functioning part is their brain. And so then when I was thinking about it, I thought, well, how would someone with superior intellect defeat animated corpses where the only things working is their brain. He'd attack their brain, wouldn't he? So he came up with a wavelength that stopped the brain waves. If that's the only thing that's really moving them, then stop that. So that's how he came up with that. How I came up with that idea. So that's so good. The Crimson Dawn was such a great story. And with everything, there's so much more to it when you. That's why I like these. I like these Sundays because you can. I mean, I couldn't put this in the story. But like I say, I've told you my idea behind creating Winter and the idea behind why could he stop the undead. Well, someone with superior intellect wouldn't be looking for the direct assault to hose them down or shoot them all in the head. He would come up with an idea that attacks the thing that makes them work. Creative and intellect. So that's how we had Winter show up. Great moment when he's on the hill watching the battle. One of my favorite bits. The only one. I don't know if the only one who could possibly match Winter is Dr. Thorne. So we haven't seen him at his fullest yet. But we can see how cunning he is already. He's spreading his influence over story after story. He keeps coming in and spreading influence for some reason. He's a little bit like Winter, isn't he? He's like always one step ahead. Things seem to fall into play for him. Exactly. Son of Nocturna. The vanished son of Nocturna. Sort of have like godlike powers. Highly intellectual. Planning ahead. So yeah, so I suppose he could be a good challenge. I haven't done anything. I haven't got that far yet. But there could be a match somewhere along the line. But we're saving Dr. Thorne for a little bit, maybe next year. It's going to be a while before because I've still got some things I need to tease him in. I need to tease him in some stuff. So yes, that will be maybe next year. But it's going to take a while for us to get to 1,000 anyway, so we've got plenty of time. Plenty of time to do it. $360, I think. But of course, the early ones are not connected at all, so we'll have to find ways to connect. Yeah, so I'm excited to work on this. One of the human heroes from Crimson Dawn, to pull them into the story. I sort of thought about it, but I didn't really decide. I didn't know if it was a good idea. And on here today, I've just realized, this is a great idea. This is why I didn't get excited about it earlier and why I couldn't think of how I'm going to move forward with it. And now thinking of that and putting that character in, yes, and move forward with that story idea. I was a little bit excited about that. So it's something I'm going to work on. Let's see what we got tomorrow. I'm so busy tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to get much done tomorrow. Tuesday is not too bad for me, and Wednesday is not too bad for me. So Tuesday, Wednesday will be good work days. I can get in and create. So I'm excited to do that. So I'll probably jump on a Tuesday and Wednesday and get one out. So probably by Wednesday night you'll see something. Like I say, once I start, I binge the creation. So I'll write the story, which I love, and then have a break, come back, create some images and some video, and I'll probably do the intro again. Like I hope you've seen the last couple of videos. I've done the intros. I want to do the intro again. I like doing the intros. And then they can't say, "Oh, it's not your voice," because it is. And I'll do the intro, and yeah, we'll get it out. Great. Well, I think we're on the hour, so, and my drink is gone. So what's left is for me to say thank you so much. Yes, the intros are great. Good. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It's nice. What's nice for the intro is I try not to just write the story for the sake of the story. I like to have a message inside the story. I like to, and the intro is a great chance to really highlight that message. So when you're watching the story, you're looking out for it. And one of the video you did, where you came at the end and gave some over. Yes. Yes. I think it's important. I think it's important to. So I get a lot of messages from people about, oh, it helped me when I'm going through bad times, and that. Okay, well, let's help you more. Yes. So what's left to say is thank you so much for joining me this evening. Truly appreciate it. Truly. And look out for what's coming up this week. Reinhard. You missed. But you can watch the replay. You can watch the replay. We're on the hour. But you can definitely watch the replay. So I'm going to meet with you guys again next Sunday, same time, same place. Look out in the meantime. Tuesday, probably will be Wednesday. I have a really intriguing story. If, once again, you got my email, I will need to check. I don't check my email very often. I will check it today. Don't worry. If you think of a character from the Crimson Dawn, human, not Winter, that you would like to see in a story this week, what's your favorite character? Put the name in the replay. Put it in here so that I can see it. And I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that character. I'm going to take the human character. If they can survive the Crimson Dawn, it will be a good protagonist for the story. And on that note, my friends, until next Sunday, indeed, take care, my friends. And I will see you once again in the shadows next week. Have an amazing week. Have an amazing time, whatever you're doing. And I'll see you real soon.